There's something to suggest that getting your name on a movie poster is incredibly addictive, with actors chasing fame as they have an obsessive need to rise up the credits. But there's obviously a special kind of happiness for those actors that manage to get their name on the cast list more than once. Why else would Eddie Murphy enjoy playing so many roles in some of his films, and Michael J. Fox taking on the wig and makeup for the Back to the Future sequels? It's got to be even more fun seeing yourself interacting with yourself up on the big screen. And then there's that other breed of actor that tries to hide the fact they're in the same movie more than once, whether by just putting on a lot of makeup or a different costume to obscure their look, or just by simply not admitting their involvement in it. They're just like the living, breathing Hollywood Easter egg. And with that being said, I'm Ben Rowe from Whatculture.com, and here are 10 actors who secretly played 2 characters in the same film.
But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to stay notified. Ding, ding, done.
Number 10. Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange. Not content with playing the title role in Scott Derrickson's comic fantasy, a role Marvel wanted him to play so badly, they changed the shooting schedule around him to accommodate his needs. And then he goes and takes on a second role. Having already lent his voice to the Hobbit, he secretly lent his vocal cords, which famously can't pronounce the word penguin, that sort of adorable, to the big, bad Dormammu. And while it's mostly unrecognisable, the depth of his voice adds something to the weird corduroy-faced demon. Number 9. Anthony Daniels, Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. It basically goes without saying that if you make a Star Wars film, you hire Anthony Daniels, because at this point C-3PO is part of the furniture, and recasting him would be unthinkable. But the actor underneath the shiny coating has also played another character in Star Wars. He turns up in Attack of the Clones playing a denizen of a seedy bar in Coruscant, known as Daniel Fatoni, something, who is on screen for a matter of seconds, and obviously has his own backstory because, well, it's Star Wars. Amon Best, who plays Jar Jar Binks, is also in the same scene, but let's not talk about that right now. Number 6. Jack Nicholson, Mars Attacks. Now this one is just more for fun because, come on Jack, you're not fooling anyone here. Long before Tim Burton was being criticised for his self-indulgent film visions, he made the excellent Mars Attacks. As a love letter to Z movies from the 1950s with a stellar cast, it's a great homage and it's a great experience in itself, and helped wonderfully along by Jack Nicholson's 2 brilliant performances. Not only does he play the Commander-in-Chief James Dale, who oversees his country being invaded by nefarious aliens, but he also plays a character on the other end of the moral scale. Well, sort of. In a sleazy Vegas hotel. And if he had got his own way, he would have done so much more. He loved the script so much, he told Burton he would play every single character. Could you just imagine him singing, "It's not unusual"? Just what could have been. Number 7. Mike Myers, So I Married an Axe Murderer. Years before he really made a name for himself, with the likes of Austin Powers and Shrek, Mike Myers followed up his breakout success as Wayne's World's titular hero with this comedy about a spousal homicide and overbearing family members. And he actually used this model for later jobs, not only using the rough Scottish accent and exact line delivery for Fat Bastard, but also by playing multiple characters. He plays murder-fearing hero Charlie Mackenzie and his father Stuart, with thick-rimmed glasses and a grey wig. Number 6. Benedict Cumberbatch, The Hobbit, The Desolation of a Smaug. Peter Jackson was obviously very impressed with Benedict Cumberbatch when it came to casting him as Smaug in the second Hobbit movie. The actor got so into his role that he actually visited animals in captivity to study their movements, and he actually motion captured the entire performance to lend his likeness to the lonely guardian of the mountain. He's great as Smaug with his deep, rich voice adding warmth, but yet terror at the same time. But he also secretly lent his voice to a second villain, the Necromancer, which Deadline revealed ahead of the film's release. This was meant to be a secret, but we can't have nice things, can we? Number 5. Dan Aykroyd, Nothing But Trouble. There's a good chance you haven't seen Nothing But Trouble, even though it's Aykroyd's directorial debut. Aykroyd picked himself up a Worst Supporting Actor at the Razzies for literally playing a 106-year-old penis-nosed judge. It all goes very Kevin Smith Makes Hostel from there, to be honest. Aykroyd turns up a bit later as the judge troll mutant-like thing's grandson Bobo, but under a massive prosthetics with no penis nose. Number 4. Jeremy Bulloch, Star Wars Episode 5 The Empire Strikes Back. Though he's not as famous as some of the other costume characters in the Star Wars franchise, even David Prowse, British actor Jeremy Bulloch still plays one of the most beloved characters in the franchise. He's the man behind the green mask of the iconic Boba Fett, who made his film debut back in The Empire Strikes Back, and from then on has captured the imagination of the galaxy over. But not to be confined by his costume entirely, Bulloch also plays Imperial Officer Lieutenant Shekel, who proves how much of a nice guy he is by grabbing Princess Leia and using her as a human shield in Cloud City. Nice caliber of an officer there. Number 3, Kevin Kline, Wild Wild West. You really have to feel for Kevin Kline. Not only does he have to suffer the disgrace of having the Wild Wild West on his CV, but he's got it on there twice. The comedy legend plays US Marshal Artemis Gordon, Will Smith's partner in their pursuit for Dr. Arliss Lovelace. Smith's Jim West is the only person without a daft name in this film, but he also plays the President Julius S. Grant, however you say that, who gives the pair the mission in the first place. Number 2, Warwick Davis, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. When Warwick Davis looks back on his career, he's going to have some roles in the most iconic film franchises of all time. Star Wars, Harry Potter, I'm sure the list will just go on forever. And it's hard to argue that he hasn't earned these through fantastic performances, along with his unique stature. But for a certain generation of fans, he will always be remembered for his parts in Harry Potter, especially Devious, Goblin, Griphook. Before taking over that role from Vern Troyer, he played Phileas Flitwick, one of the professors who underwent a complete makeover after the first film. Oh, and not only that, but he also plays the unnamed goblin bank teller of Gringotts, who greets Harry Potter and Hagrid. Number 1, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool 2. Not content with hiding Matt Damon or Brad Pitt in the excellent Deadpool sequel, Ryan Reynolds went fully meta in 2018 by playing 2 separate characters. He obviously plays Wade Wilson underneath the Deadpool mask and scar tissue, but after the film was released, it turns out that he lent his voice to the Juggernaut, bitch. That might explain why he sounds suspiciously North American rather than English, despite being a blood relative to Professor X. And not only that, but he cameos as himself and the Deadpool from the shitty Wolverine movie. So you know what, Ryan Reynolds? You win this list. Which other actors belong in this list? Why don't you let us know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I've been Ben Roy Turner from Whatculture.com, and I'll catch you later.